Hi ho, hi ho, hi ho, hi ho, hi ho. It's home from work we go. Welcome back to the HowToKDJ podcast. Today I have a very spicy topic, as I usually do. But first of all, I have a nice new cap. This is not mine. It's a friend's. I just kind of took it without asking. I'm sorry. But I thought I should wear something else besides the other cap that I always wear. So okay. Listen, right? Listen. White people look pretty, don't they? They look pretty. God, that's so weird. Look, this is the thing. I have this very weird, grandiose topic here, and I kind of wanted to start it out playfully because I was like, this is the easiest way to ease people into my opinions of things. White people. Why do white people look a certain way? Let's shine some light on that situation. So this is the thing. I said that for those of you who weren't watching. I kind of just turned on my main lights. I don't know why it was off in the first place. But okay. There is this God, I have to find a way to start my topics without sounding like I'm about to give a lecture. But there's no other way to do this, you know? I have to just make sure that what I'm saying sounds good, but at the same time sounds informative. Like it doesn't sound like it's a child talking. And I'm a one-man show here on my podcast, so I'm kind of trying to carry people from all aspects. And the only way to do that is to sound firm, sound confident, and also sound, capable in the English language. So I start my sentences like this, okay? Here we go. There is this weird phenomenon that I have always kind of noticed about white people, about human beings in general. And the thing is, it's the eyes, right? The eyes that we have in our, heads, in our skulls, in our eye sockets. There is this strange thing about them, which is that they capture light. And when they capture light, they tend to react certain ways to some types of light, some frequencies, some spectrums, or spectra. Is spectra the plural of spectrum? I don't know what I'm saying, but the reason I'm bringing this up, I'm being serious here, okay? Let's be serious a bit. The reason I'm bringing this up is I've always been very concerned with the fact that, in general, you know how we look at people and we look at faces and we look at things? It's, how do I put this? It's part of our biology, like as human beings, to sound a little bit smart here, as always. It's part of our biology to associate things with senses, associate things around us with our senses, and one of the major senses we have is sight. Just hold on with me, follow along with me. I know I'm getting to the topic. The whole topic is, why do I think white people look prettier? Why are white people pretty? Is the eyes, right? The things you used to see, your optical receptors, your ways to see, your windows to the soul. Like the way you see things affects the way you think. And a lot of this is in our genetic code. It's literally in there. Think about it from the perspective of animals, for example. There are a lot of animals who are nocturnal. They're called nocturnal because they usually work better at night. They sleep in the day, wake up at night, like bats, like moles. So there are a lot of animals that are nocturnal, and it also means that they see better at night, So because of that phenomenon, because some animals are like that, nighttime feels the opposite as it does for us. What does nighttime feel like for a human being? It's darkness. It's darker. It's harder for you to perceive things, and thereby it initiates this concept, this thing in our bodies, this fear, this phobia for the unknown. That's the one thing about darkness that darkness has always had. And yes, some people can say, yeah, bright things, white things, technically do also have that unknown aspect, but not as black things do. Why? Because when there is blackness, it means there is an absence. Think about it in terms of space, for example. The only reason space looks dark or black is because a lot of that void, or a lot of that is void of light. Now, follow me along. I know that this is going to lead somewhere. Don't worry about it. But the whole point I'm trying to make here is there is a thing. It's in us. It's in our genetic code. It's in our biology that thinks it should associate darkness with fear or with a little bit of angst or like anguish. Like you don't feel comfortable with darkness because we're not nocturnal, because we need lights, we need senses to function. So because of this feeling, the way we see people themselves is affected by this. And this is my tangent into the main topic. White people, right, have that thing where they are full of light. Their skin is literally designed in a way, melatonically, because based on their melatonin is the thing that, the pigments inside your skin that makes it a certain color. When there's a lot of melatonin, you're black. When there is little melatonin, you're white. Because of their absence of melatonin, what happens? Their skins look reflective enough that it's just white. It's able to shine as much as possible. Whereas with melatonin, and because of the way melatonin works, it absorbs light. And so black people have skins that absorb more light. And because they absorb light, they are not able to reflect back into the person looking at that skin, into the eyes. And here's the thing. When your brain has already been configured in a way, because this is just human biology, that black things or darkness is already kind of correlated with fear, because it's fear of the unknown, and it's usually the best way predators hide. They hide in darkness, they hide in dark places so you can't see them coming. So when your brain is already wired that way, what happens when you see a person whose skin is already inherently black compared to a person whose skin is full of reflectivity, is white? You can see. Can you understand where I'm going to here? This is my nerdiest way of putting this, because I'm like, if I just come along and say, hey, why do I think white people look so different from black people? Is because I think white people just kind of look prettier, and because their faces are so much brighter, it's easier to see, and it's easier to comprehend what their faces are made of and their features and stuff. That's the full explanation, but it's lacking the fact of why is that the real explanation. And my answer is, the reason we feel that way for white people is in our biology. This is not a hypothetical thing. I'm sure a lot of people understand this as well. I'm always saying I'm sure, like I really do know, but even though I know for a fact a lot of people don't. But this is not just opinionated, this is true. Why is this true? Because it's how we relate to things. There is nobody out there, because as human beings, there's nobody out there that feels more comfortable at night, looking at darkness, than looking at brightness. And by brightness, it doesn't have to be a maximum brightness, maximum darkness. I mean, dark enough that you can't really see things, so your eyes literally start creating things. Your eyes start trying to feel it. It's like content fill on Photoshop, for example, for people who use Photoshop. Like when your brain is trying to fill in the gaps, because it's like there should be something there, But for a white person or for brightness, your brain doesn't try to fill in gaps anymore. Your brain doesn't go, what should be there? It doesn't feel that way. It just feels like, I'm seeing so much. I'm seeing a lot of light. And this is my weirdly nerdy way to go into the topic, which is, why do white people look so much prettier than most other nationalities? Why? Why is this just a thing? And I'm not just talking about the whole aspect of, white people just happen to be from a certain area, or because they kind of created a lot of these are fanatic things, I don't know, the little things that we like, the little what am I going to use, for example, cosmetics, I don't know, the systems we have in society and stuff. I'm not trying to say, just because they made those things, that's the reason they're so much better, and white people usually are the more powerful people in the world. No, I'm not trying to bring any of this in. I feel like these things are in some ways correlated together. The success of white people, Europeans and Americans, correlates with the fact that they grew up in areas that caused their skins to have less melatonin, which means that they don't absorb light as much, which means that their bodies produce way more vitamin D. This is a lot of stuff, there's a lot of things here, and I don't know how to put these things in cohesive manners, and this is probably why I should write down what I want to say first. I've been telling myself this a lot, that, for topics like this, I should write them down and have topic points and have like things to go through. I don't like doing that, okay? I'm too lazy for that. I just kind of feel like I should just say whatever comes to my mind and explain it the best I can. And I can do that. It just sometimes it takes longer, and sometimes I just end up confusing people more, but I'll get better as I keep doing this. This is a skill I'm trying to hone. Anyway, white people have skins that are just inherently way more reflective, and because it's more reflective, it's easier to see. And when it's easier to see, what happens? You lose that feeling of the unknown. There's no feeling of, oh, what the hell? Like, what's that person? What are they trying to hide something? Is there anything? No, there's no weird feeling of fear there. That's kind of one of the reasons I've always responded to when someone says something racist about a person who is inherently black. I'm always like, the reason a lot of people, like my answer to this is always, the reason a lot of people are racist is because they're afraid. Yes, it's because of fear. I don't know if this is news to anyone, but like the reason a lot of people feel like the black skin looks like is more, I don't know, is less worth than the white skin is because they're afraid of it. Like, they're mentally afraid. I'm not saying they're scared. I don't know how to differentiate both, but you should try to understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're scared of it. I'm saying they're afraid. They're afraid in the sense that they can't tell what's going on. They can't tell what comes next. And it also adds to the fact, like, an addition to this whole thing is the fact that black people do tend to be a lot more, will I say, flamboyant? Like, they're a lot quicker. Like, they react so fast, We're usually, like, black people in general, we're usually way more, first of all, loud, more, I don't know, boisterous. We're, like, very active, mentally active and physically active. And, like, that does add to the fact that they feel scared. They don't really know what we're going to do next. That does add to it. But also the fact that we're just so much scarier, And try to understand what I mean when I say scary, okay? Don't be too cautious about the exact terms I'm using. But by scary, I mean they instill this feeling of, you don't know what's gonna happen next, You don't know what we're gonna do next. You don't know exactly what's gonna happen because it's just literally physically harder to see. It's harder to tell. And because of this, it feels that way for black people when you look at them without even thinking through all these things. Like, your brain doesn't look at a black person and go, oh my God, what the hell is this guy planning? What? Some people 100% do think like that, but like, that's not how it works in your brain directly. It's more of like, you look at a black person and then you think about what they do normally, and you're like, okay, this person could be either. It could be a nice guy, or it could be a very, very dangerous person and have no idea. But you look at a white person and they are completely equal in the terms that they could do the same things, but the white skin, like the appearance, does actually affect the way you think about them. And this is not just the appearance in the sense that they dress well, they do. No, it's not about dressing, it's not about looks, it's not about style. And that does add to things, but that's not the main thing. The main thing is the fact that your skin it feels more approachable. That's the word I've been trying to look for. It's way more approachable. The reason you fantasize, like even religions, usually culturally fantasize white with pure and black with, impure or evil or something, is because that's just how the brain is wired. The brain is wired to think, and because of the way Earth works, how we rotate around the sun, and because of that feeling, we have daytime and nighttime. And we know that nighttime is usually more dangerous for human beings, as daytime is, like, it's easier to live in daytime, because a lot of predators can't hide easily in the daytime. They can't hide in brightness. And because of that, like, your brain is just wired to think, oh, so the white one, like the brighter one, is much more approachable. And because of that, it does stream down, and this whole thing trickles down into the way we understand appearances and the way we like looks, the way we see women, for example. Because usually for men, it's more of like it's 50-50, because a lot of things like mix in from cultures to the way they look, to the way they behave and stuff. And usually we've come to a point where culturally we don't look at like good-looking guys as guys. We don't look at good-looking guys as like just good looking. We look at them as conniving, which is the thing. We just kind of look at them in a more of, this person is probably going to swindle you out of something way. But for women, for some reason, and also I'm not going to say for some reason, I know exactly why, but I don't want to have to break down everything, because it's all about, it's a cultural thing, it's an upbringing based thing, it's a nurture based thing. Is because we've had women around as helpers more than as civilians, for example. I don't want to break down all this stuff because this is a lot of stuff to deal with, but try to stick with me. For women specifically women, there's this thing about them where you feel, first of all, your understanding of women is still also genetic, because of the fact that women have always been simpler, like just because of biology, I guess, because women were the one that always have to take care of kids. They always stay inside. The men always go outside to forage and to find resources and stuff most times, and because of that, just part of our mentality and it's part of our biology. We feel like women are way more simple. They're less scary, because they are known for something less scary. It doesn't mean that they're less scary inherently. They can do all the things. They're usually way more capable of bad things because people expect them to not do bad things. You get what I'm saying? But like, the reason a lot of women look a certain way or look prettier compared to a lot of other women, that skin color thing really does matter. It really does. That's why you notice in the entire world, if you check, even just from statistics, the most pretty women of every year, there's a trend you notice. What's that trend? The trend is that it's not the whitest or the darkest person. You don't find an extremely black, like Kenyan woman, like, someone with proper thick black skin winning. You don't expect that person to win. Just as you don't expect some like white-blooded, freaking white-ass whitey. I don't know how to put this, series, but you don't expect that person either to win. Why not? Because it's just mental. It's a mental thing. It's inside your brain that no, there is no way this person that's this white also feels scary, because your brain also goes, wait, this person has the capabilities as well, but now that they're so white, it's like it's like a loop, right? It's like it goes, you're black, so you're kind of scary, you're kind of spooky, I don't know what's much about you, but then you get lighter and lighter, and it's like, oh, so you're more like approachable, but also a little bit hidden, but at the same time, since you're a little bit brighter, it's harder to be like scared, to be afraid of what's coming next, that kind of thing, that kind of mental feeling, because that's just how human beings have always been. It's harder to feel that, so you're like, okay, it's fine. Then you get whiter and whiter, and it's like, this is getting kind of uncomfortable, It's one of those weird things, one of those phenomena in life where we're like, too much of anything is bad, too much of anything. If someone is too white, it looks kind of scary. If they're too black, it looks kind of scary. But usually white tends to be more approachable because it's mentally, genetically construed with daytime. See, that's the whole conclusion. It's white people's skin is easier to associate with comfort because it's clearly more daytime oriented than black. Black is much more nighttime oriented because it's the color of the night. The nighttime is dark and it's scary, and that's where predators hide over all the years, all the thousands of years we've existed. That's where everything has always been scary. But daytime has always been nice. It has always been easy because it's easier to see everything, because you can tell nothing can hide from you. And that's the whole point of this video. The whole point of this video is like, try to understand this, because it really does affect the way you think. Try to understand that, look, the reason I feel a certain way for a certain color isn't always that I just don't like the person, or I don't like. Sometimes it's more genetic than you think. Sometimes it's a lot deeper. It's a lot more subconscious than you think. And that's that's my whole point here. Is that a lot of the time we judge people, like racist people, as, oh, it's just it's this person's skin color. I don't believe racism is all about skin color, because that skin color thing is more genetic. It's a mixture of skin color and that feeling of wanting to take care of your own first. That's what I'll call selfish feeling. That feeling that your people or your person, your types of people, your family, people more like you that are more similar to you are more important than everyone else. That feeling, coupled with the fact that a lot of white people feel more afraid of seeing a skin that's dark, that's related more to nighttime, what's genetically, biologically scary to us, that feeling mixed with the fact that you want to take care of your own first is racism. That's what racism actually is. And that's the reason why people who have the whiter skin, the brighter skin, usually are associated with clean, with pure, with daytime. You get what I'm saying? I don't know, I've repeated this like a million times now because I'm just really trying to hone in my explanation here because I have to make people understand this. Like that's kind of been my whole thing in general. My whole purpose in life, in a way, is to try to make people understand how things work. Is to try to spread insights, to leave people no longer ignorant or unignorant. Because that's been my biggest deal breaker in life in general, is that I don't like ignorance. Like I don't like when people just don't know enough. So I try to sort of forcefully make people understand by any means necessary. And I think I'm doing a decent job at it, but at the same time, you have to really read into a lot of things I say as well to really grab like what I mean. Because you can't just look at things I say on base level and be like, okay, that's what he means. That's what he's trying to say. Because you would lose a lot of the details that I'm bringing up. And details I'm bringing up are, if I should break everything down, white people usually look nicer because their skins have more association with daytime than nighttime. And that's a biological thing. Because nighttime is usually scarier than daytime. That's where predators hide. And the reason a lot of black people look like just, I don't know, I'm trying to I'm trying to not use the word ugly, because then that also connotates negativity, and people don't like when people use words like that. And I understand why, I understand fully, but that's not what I'm going for anyway. But I'm not going to say that, because I feel like my point here is not that they look uglier, is the fact that they look, like I said before, scarier. But scary doesn't always mean they look like, they're afraid, like they're terrified, It's not like they're spooked out because they will do something. No, it's scary because it's an innate fear in the human brain of the unknown. And when you can't really tell, you feel scared because it's the ignorance thing. And I personally have that fear, and I have that fear to a point where I feel more inclined to have to tell people things because I'm so scared of ignorance. I'm so scared of the unknown, of not knowing things, that I don't even want people to not know things. I don't want that to be around me. I want to always know what I'm talking about. I want to always know what's going on around me. And that's just a thing about me. And it's part of the reason I said in this video, this is just the way human brains work. It's not a choice thing. It's not like you felt like I should appreciate this skin color more, or this skin color is way more, I don't know, I just don't like. Sometimes that's just biology, which is also the reason I don't blame people in like videos where they talk about like what they prefer sexually or what they prefer when it comes to like women and stuff, and they're like, I would love like a Latina lady with this and that. Why do you think they want that? First of all, Latinas are usually known, I'm using this as a random example, but this is something I've heard. They're usually known for the fact that, first of all, they don't have extremely dark complexion. They have more of a brownish complexion, which, like I said from the previous explanation, it's the medium. It's the perfect middle. It's like, instead of being too white or too black, they are right in between, which is brown. That's why brown is the most accepted, is the most easy. And why a lot of white people don't even like looking too white, because they prefer the browner skin. Not brown as in like African brown, because there are different types of brown, of course, different complexions. There's also like South Asian brown, which is like Indian, like usually known for Indians, Pakistanis and stuff. So that there's also that type of brown. But the brown I'm talking about is like more of a non-cultural brown. It's a brown that's just there, it's just a perfect mixture. That's the more comfortable mixture. And it's more comfortable not because people feel like, I just don't like the people like that, like this, I'm just generalizing. No, it's because that color itself, it does something to your brain. It actually does. Some colors look better to some other people because of the way it's just wired in your brains. And the reason I'm not dealing with like different shades of different colors. No, I'm saying specifically white and black and a mixture of both in between. The technical, like in science, the actual mixture between both would not be brown. It would be gray or like ash or something. That's the more mixed white and black thing. But in like skin tones, for skin tones specifically, you know how technically white people aren't like exactly white. They just kind of look bright because their skins have no melatonin, so it reflects everything. But we have blood vessels, so it kind of adds a little touch of red in it. I don't know, I'm explaining this like I'm cooking food or I'm explaining a meal, a dish. But like when you mix white and black in skin colors, it doesn't mean you're now brown. You know, it doesn't make brown ordinarily, but for skin colors it does, because I just explained the whole thing 3 times in a row for some stupid reason. I don't know. This is how I talk normally when I'm thinking. Like this is what goes on in my brain, and this is the best way I could think of to explain what I'm saying, because there's no better way to say this. It's all biology. It's just all biology. It's all in your brain. It's all literally in your brain. It's in your head. And not in the cliche, oh, it's just the way you think. No, it's literally in your head. The way you reason people, the way you reason races, the way you reason, it's in your head. It's all there. It's just biology. The only way you can create a human being, or you can have a human being that's absolutely not racist, it doesn't have any of these things, is that a human being is not even part of the spectrum. Because you can't be any color and not be racist. It's there. And there's a small difference, because I'm not using racist in the more negative trope. I'm not saying racist in the same terms of you hate other races. No, it's the fact that you like your race more. And sometimes that's supremacist. I don't know what right terms to use, but you have to have that if you have any of these colors, these skin tones. But you notice something: the least racist people are the ones who are not too black or too white, because neither look too scary to them. To a brown person, the black skin is more of, you think of it more culturally than you think of it as a color. Because your skin can look like that at night, but can look as white as a white person in the daytime. See, so it's like a perfect medium. I don't know why I'm explaining this like I'm cooking something, like I'm in a freaking lecture, but this is, I don't know, there's no better way in my mind to think about this, because it's such an interesting thing to like theorize, to like, I don't know, to just grasp, to just hone in your mind, to just understand that, look, sometimes some things just look a certain way because of the way your brain is wired. So sometimes you have to literally fight that urge. You have to fight it in your mind and tell yourself, hey, stop thinking of things that way. Don't think this person is this way because of their color, because it just does something in my brain. No. Sometimes you have to fight that. Sometimes you have to be like, no, accept it. There's nothing to be scared of. There is just nothing to be scared of. You can accept any color you want if you can understand that your brain is just doing that. You're not doing it. It's just there. It's in your structure. It's in DNA. It's in the code. It's written in your brain. Passed down from generation to generation of people who had to hunt at night, who had to live in like nighttime places outdoors, with animals that can kill you, that need food. So like, because of that, it's just wired there. It's in our inherent biology. So a lot of the time, don't react to a certain race because you feel they are just this way, because they're just bad people or something. Sometimes try to understand that there's a reason behind that way, behind the way they behave, behind their culture. There's a reason behind it. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Anyway, I don't know. This is a pretty scary topic, because it's hard to explain this without sounding too opinionated, and opinionated in the sense that it's hard to explain this without sounding like you're just giving excuses for a feeling you have. That's kind of my biggest problem with talking about stuff like this, because a lot of people will be like, oh, he's just talking like this because he's trying to find a reason to be racist without sounding bad. That's clearly what I'm doing. I don't know if it's clearly what I'm doing, because to each his own. Some people still will feel like what I said made no sense, and I understand that fully. Like I said, everyone has their opinion first, but you should understand there are a lot of things that happen because of biology. And I will keep using that word biology, as nerdy as it sounds, because that's the best word to use. When there's thousands of words in English language, you choose the right one, okay? You don't break things down because people are too dumb to understand what you're saying. Anyway, have fun, you guys. I guess I'll see you guys very, very soon in the next video. You guys will see me in the next video is what I mean, because I can't see you. You guys will see me. I've said this a million times in all my videos, but whatever. Anyway, stay gorgeous, stay beautiful, and as always, get out of here.